Out of the 19 books available for Dune, Frank Herbert wrote 6. One of them got adapted into 2 movies, and this is a very big book, by the way, and one upcoming for Messiah. Frank Herbert's son Brian, along with Kevin J. Anderson, wrote books that expanding through the world of Frank Herbert's Dune and spin-offs. One of them is being adapted into an HBO show. Hop in. The HBO series dates back as far as, get this, 2019. Okay, that's around when Denis Villeneuve was still shooting Dune Part 1. That a HBO Max series is in the works. October 2022, Emily Watson from the acclaimed HBO Original Limited Series, one of my personal favorites, Chernobyl, is joining this series, along with Shirley Henderson from the Harry Potter movies. Both actresses are playing, consequently, Valia Harkonnen and Tula Harkonnen. And Denis Villeneuve and John Spatz are both involved as executive producers in the show, with co-showrunner with Diane Ademo-John. Then right around November 2022, Travis Fimmel, Ragnar Lothbrok from History Channel's Vikings, I love that show, will be joining the cast of Dune Prophecy as Desmond Hard.
Several days later,
This show loses its co-showrunner Diane Ademo-John. Few months later, Mark Strong joins the cast. To make the things a little bit more interesting, around February 2023, the show went through not only an artistic shakeup, but also loses Shirley Henderson, which brings the question, who's going to play Tula Harkonnen? And during the writer's strike, 2 things happen. One, Denis Villeneuve leaving the show as executive producer to focus more on the cinematic adaptations of, back then it was Dune Part 2 and the upcoming Dune Messiah. 2, Olivia Williams was announced that she will be joining the cast of Dune Prophecy as Tula Harkonnen. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon so you wouldn't miss anything that I post. Now, speaking of the show, this show has only 6 episodes.
Are you serious?
And to make the matters a little bit more interesting, May 2024, Indian actor Taboo will be joining the cast of Dune Prophecy. When you check the Variety article down below, the title of the show got changed from Dune Sisterhood into Dune Prophecy. This show also got, I would say, the Penguin treatment. That is the change from the Max label into an HBO label. Thank God for the change. And the show is being adapted from the novel Sisterhood of Dune by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson. And speaking of the plot, takes place 10,000 years before the events of Paul Muad'Dib Atreides and explores the 2 Harkonnen sisters that were responsible for the foundation of the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood, which ponders a good question. Does this happen during the Batlurian Jihad? And this is from the introduction letter written by Brian Herbert, quote, "The Batlurian Jihad, occurring 10,000 years before the events described in Dune, was a war against thinking machines who at one time had cruelly enslaved humans. For this reason, computers were eventually made illegal by humans, as decreed in the Orange Catholic Bible. Thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of a human mind," unquote. So if you're a tech person like myself, the Batlurian Jihad is interesting, especially with AI. Quote, "Still, there are computers in the Dune universe long after the Jihad. As Frank Herbert's series unfolds, it is revealed that the Bene Gesserits have secret computers to keep track of their breeding records, and the Mantads of Dune, capable of supreme logic, are, quote-unquote, human computers," unquote. So, according to my understanding, the consequences of the Batlurian Jihad were the foundings of the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood, which is the school of thinking. The other school being the Spacing Guild, which I believe it was not even mentioned in the movies. Last but not least, the toning of the Mantads so that they would not overpower the human beings. I'm reacting right now to the first teaser trailer that Max have released on their YouTube channel. Let's give it a watch.
10,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides, before the universe would know us as the Bene Gesserit, we founded
Looks a little bit darker than Denis Villeneuve.
assigned to the great houses to help them sift truth from lies. We created a network of influence throughout the Imperium. But power comes with a price.
Okay, that's Mark
Sister
Strong.
on the throne. Nothing is more important. And this is the marriage that makes it possible. This is
Valia
us
Harkonnen?
playing God, and we will be judged for it. Valia Harkonnen.
Sisterhood above all.
Okay, this looks good. The color palettes in this show is quite different from Denis Villeneuve's movies, because Denis Villeneuve's movies takes place on Arrakis Dune. It's a little bit closer to orange. But when you look at this show, it's further into the blacks and the grays, and the colors, the vibrant ones, pop. And there we had one scene here from Mark Strong as Javico Carino, and looks like to me he has a son. I should also point out that Travis Fimmel doesn't have any scenes here, but I believe he's in one of the other teaser trailers that later on Max has released. I'm gonna play a one. Let's give it a watch.
You wish to serve the great houses and shape the flow of power. You must first exert power over yourself.
The more influence our sisterhood gains, the more enemies we make.
There was a time when you took my views seriously.
Oh, so this
Instead
show
of allowing
has.
those sorceresses to rule you.
I'll point out later.
The Sisterhood, they hide in your camp. And do our thinking for us.
Okay, here there he
Our
is.
hands are poised on the levers of power.
Trying to remember the actress is playing the Emperor's wife.
I am trying to protect the Imperium. Sacrifices must be made.
Okay, I remember now. She used to be the queen in the Witcher series, season 1. She was I don't quite remember the name of her character, but I loved her. It has a little bit more details. This show, when it needs to pop its colors, it doesn't shy away from popping the color palette. But most of the time, like I said a few moments ago, it's more into the grays, the blacks, and the shadows. And most of the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood are still wearing the veil, just like the Denis Villeneuve's movies. Anyway, I like it so far. And I believe this is going to air right after When the Penguin ends. Let me know down below, what do you think? If you like this video, click the like button down below and check out these other videos as well.